सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। So in Nididhyasana Prakriya, we are looking at Shloka 284, I think. Yeah, 284. 285. We did 285 and then so yeah, 285. We finished 285. I think we were doing the Tika when I got disconnected. So Kiyat Kalam Bhranti Nirasa Prayatna Karniya iti chedah. How long should this Bhranti Nirasa, how long should this Nididhyasana be done? It is said, Aham Bhavasya Desmin Nisheshi Vilayavadi Savadhana Yuktatma Swadhyasapanyam Kuru. So as long as this Aham Bhava continues in this Deha, it does not go, till then you have to do. And then I think Swapnavad Yavata, we are looking at 286 Tika, I'm sorry. So and then further it is said, Evam, and further also Pratitir Jiva Jagatoho Swapnavad Bhati Yavata Tavan Nirantaram Vidvan Swadhyasapanyam Kuru. As long as one does not see this Prapancha, the Jivatvam, individuality as a Swapna, so long one has to continue. Hey Vidvan, he says to the Shishya, Guru is saying, hey Vidvan, you have to continue this Swadhyasapanyam so long as you do not have this Pratiti the way a waker knows the dream. So the Prapancha and this individuality, Jivatvam, should be seen like a dream, the way a waker on waking up knows the dream. It should be like a dream. So Mithyatva Nishya should be complete at such a level. So long you have to do the Swadhyasa Apanayanam. Adhyasa Apanayanam, and it's Swasya Adhyasa, there was Swadhyasa. Swadhyasa Apanayanam Kuru, you should do it so long. And what this means is that there is Aikya Jnana already there. That's why he says Vidwan. Otherwise he is not a Vidwan, one who thinks that there is Mithyatva Nishya. He knows that this Prapancha is Mithya, but then that Jivatva Bhava also is Mithya, but then the Aikya Jnana is not there. So thereby he thinks that there is some Ishvara somewhere else. That Aikya, knowledge is not there, but Vidwan here shows that he is a Vidwan. It is a Sambodhana, he is addressing as a Vidwan, meaning that he has Aikya Jnana. Tika says, Yavata Kalena Jivasya Jagatasya Pratitihi Prabuddhasya Swapnavat Nischita Mithyattvakam Bhati Tavat Kala Paryantam Nirantaram Vidwan Swadhyasapanyam Kuru. So how long it should be done? One thing, and should it be continuous or not? That question is answered here again. It is said that it should be continuous. Otherwise, that pratitihi of mithya pratitihi, the appearance of the prapancha as swapnavat, as like a dream, may be momentary. It may be due to some occasion, or even if knowledge is there, still you think that okay, this prapancha is mithya, jivatva bhava is mithya, but then again the vasana comes back and grasps you. So it should be nirantara, it should be continuous, and thereby it will become dridha and vasana kshaya would be the effect. एवं नवभिः श्लोकैः अनात्मभ्रान्त्यपनयम् उपदिश्य आत्मनाशहेतोः विस्मृतेः किञ्चिदपि अवकाशः न देय इति विस्मृतिहेतुविशदनेन उपदिशति निद्रायाः इति. एवं नवभिः श्लोकैः, through these 9 shlokas we saw that how the vasanaksha has to be done, how swadhyasa apanayana has to be done. And he said shloka evam navabhi shloke anatma bhrantyapanyam upadishya, having taught this methodology of doing this, doing away with bhranti, atmanasha hetoho vismrutehe kinchidapi avakashah na deyah iti vismruti hetu vishadanaina upadishati nidraya iti. Now he is saying that if you forget this, not that knowledge but forgetfulness, the negligence, even that negligence should not be there. He is carrying forward from that nirantaram which has been mentioned earlier, as it should be continuous, meaning what is that continuity, how continuous, what is the continuous meaning? Every day a few minutes, few hours, or weekly so many times, but then that is also called continuous. So here he says, what is that? Atmanasha heto vismrutehe. Vismruti is the reason for Atmanasha. Atmanasha, Atma cannot be destroyed, but here figuratively Atmanasha is this moksha nasha. Don't get the Purushartha Siddhi, that is figuratively called as Atmanasha here. And what is that? Forgetfulness. Forgetfulness meaning what? Vismruti, you take it easy. A person takes it easy and he says that okay, I have got it, but then nishtha is not there because one forgets that one is Atma. And how does one forget it? By taking oneself as Sharira. So the more you indulge, the lesser the nishtha, and thereby it is said as forgetting the Atma Tattva. As long as the vasanas are there which give a viparita bhavana, that will block the nishtha and they can bring back the samshaya. So unless that samshaya is completely gone and one is very sure all the time that I am not this deha, so long it has to continuously continue. You have to keep the nishtha. And since there is a risk, he says vismritihi, there is a risk of not being a jnani and considering oneself a jnani and indulging. Thereby he is saying atmanasha heto vismrite kinchidapi avakasha, not even a little opportunity should be given to such forgetfulness or the viparita bhavana to actually bring back the to fructify into bondage. Meaning what? Bondage has not gone really. There is a bhranti of bondage being gone, but really jnana is not done its karya of taking away ajnana. Nidrayaha panchami evam lokavartaha shabdadirapi vishayan prasajyamana ya vismritihi atma vismaranam tasyaha kvachit kadachidapi avasaram avakasham adatva atmanam param swarupam atmani buddho chintaya uktam hi. So this is the tika. I'm sorry, I skipped the shloka itself. So he said nidraya lokavartaya shabdadirapi vismritehe क्वचिन्नावसरं दत्वा चिन्तयात्मना आत्मानम् आत्मनि. So chintaya atmanam atmani. The first atma is the atma, shuddha atma, real atma. Atmani, the second atmani is in buddhi, in antakarana. So you think about the atma, meaning hold on to that vritti. You keep on bringing back the vritti in the antakarana of Nirguna Brahma, Brahmatma. And then he is saying what? Nidrayaha lokavartayaha. Nidra vritti, you have to avoid the nidra vritti during nididhyasana. Otherwise one feels so relaxed that one may fall asleep. So he says, even in Bhagwan Gaudapadacharya, in Gaudapada Karika, he says you should not let an occasion for nidra to come back or take you away from sadhana, because you have withdrawn from the prapancha and now you are feeling relaxed. And since the mind is still, it is possible that in that relaxation you may fall asleep, but that nidra will also take you away from your vasanakshay, because you are trying to practice nishtha Don't lose that by becoming lazy. Lokavarta is getting very talkative about everything else. So Anvaya of Nididhyasana is also said that you should always talk about this Brahma Tattva only. You should leave everything else aside. You should not talk about Laukika at all. So when a Nishtha grows, generally a person does not feel interested in talking about anything else. So Loka Varta is also that Laukika Varta. And Shabdaderapi. And Loka Vartaya Shabda. So Varta is also taken as music here, and then Shabdaderapi. Other words also which are Laukika. And due to these three, one meaning is due to these three, there is a Vismriti. Because when you are talking about other things, you are talking about them as real. Generally talking about it is not an issue, but as long as Jnana is not Sthira, there is a chance that when we talk about Laukika, we talk about it as real, existent, and thereby there is a Vismriti of Atma Tattva, which has not really fructified into Ajnana Nasha. Thereby these should be avoided, and Kvachin Avasaram Dattva, without giving any opportunity to any of this at any point of time, Atmani Atmanam Chintaya. You think about Atma alone in your mind. So one way Nidrayaha, Lokavartaya and Shabdadehe, these are taken as in the fifth case, Hetau Panchami, and then Vismriti is the effect of that, Shashti. And Vismritehe Avasaram Adatva, Avasaram na Dattva, without giving any opportunity to Vismriti. And so Vismriti, two Vismriti Shashti there, and everything else is in fifth case, the earlier three words in the first line. So thereby what happens? Due to Nidra, due to Lokavarta, and due to Shabdadi, Adipada is also there, you can bring anything else. So due to all of these, what happens? There is a Vismriti of Atma Tattva. Atma Tattva meaning this Tattvamasi Vichara that we are doing, that Vichara slips. The Vritti should be continuous. As long as possible, you should hold onto it, and when it goes away, you bring it back. And this should happen throughout, continuously. Thereby what happens is that this Mithyatva Nischaya will also be thorough. That is one interpretation, and the other is, we'll see in the Shashti interpretation, but that Tikakara mentions that with this we'll proceed. Nidrayaha Panchami evam Lokavartaya Shabdadirapi Vishayan Prasajyamanaya Vismritihi. So that which lets you fall into the trap of Vishayas again, this Dvaita Prapancha which is Mithya, which makes you fall into the trap of it, which has not gone really. It pulls you back. That kind of Vismriti, that is called as Vismriti, meaning Atma Vismaranam. Forgetting one's being Atma, meaning one is not a Deha. Thereby what happens? This Deha, considering oneself as a Deha, and then Ahankara, Mamakara comes back, meaning during the Nididhyasana period it was not there, now it has come back. Because you started indulging. And why? Because vasanas were there, ajnana has not completely gone, and there is this viparita bhavana becomes stronger. That is called as Vismriti here. Tasyaha kvachit kadachidapi avasaram avakasham adatva. So na dattva adatva atmanam param swarupam atmani buddhau chintaya. So you think about this in yourself, in your mind. So Atmani, second Atma there in Atmani, in Saptami is Buddha, in Buddhi. Uktam hi, and then he is quoting something. Dadyan navasaram kinchit kamadina managapi. Even in the mind one should not entertain kama ityadi. And thereby no opportunity should be given for the trap to recur. Iti, it has been said. So, yadva, otherwise sarvatra shashti. Otherwise, in the earlier interpretation, except for Vismriti, everything was Panchami in the first line. Vismriti was Vismritehe was Shashti. Otherwise, you take everything as Shashti because the form is same. Nidrayaha, Lokavartayaha, Shabdadehe, and then Vismritehe. All these are Shashti, and thereby forgetting is one of the things which should not get an opportunity. So Nidra should not get an opportunity, Lokavarta should not get an opportunity, Shabdadi should not get an opportunity, and Vismriti also. So he is considering 4. So he says, Yadva sarvatra shashti nidrayaha lokavartah shabdadi vismritirapi kvachidapi avasaram adatva chintayam chintaya. So he says chintaya, the last word there, chintaya atmanam atmani ityartha. So you should not give an opportunity to any of these 4. So in either of the interpretations, you land on this similar meaning. Uktam hi moksha dharmeshu, and for that he is quoting another pramana from Mahabharata. Saprashanam, saprashanam, assansparsham, asandarshanam evacha, purushasya niyamo manye, nishresam varam. Iti. So aprashanam meaning not eating, and not eating meaning it is not that one should never eat, it is taking one sense organ and explaining that you should not eat as though you are eating for taste. So that is called as aprashanam here. And asamsparsham, asamsparsham meaning you should not give into the feeling of touch also, that all that is mithya, guna guneshu vartante, therefore asamsparsham, asandarshanam, and not seeing. So even while seeing, even while eating, even while touching something, even while hearing something, even while smelling something, that time you should not be the one who is actually doing it. It's a happening, you are a witness to that. Thereby purushasya niyamaha manye nishreyasam varam, and one who does not indulge in any of the sense organs, he is said to be not he, purushasya. All these are niyamas manye nishreyasam, which will lead to moksha. Kramena, jnana is the karana, but these are subsidiary to jnana, for jnana to take place and jnana to become dridha also. Once jnana has taken place, for aparokshatvam and for it to become sthira, all these have to be continued. Shamadama has to be continued basically. In Yoga Shastra it is said as yama niyama. So somewhere niyamas are described, somewhere yamas are described, somewhere shamadama, shama or dama or shamadama are described. All these are just elaboration of sadhana chatushtaya should continue till nididhyasana is complete. Meaning forever. Why should anyone drop it? Because as we said, there is nothing to do. What else will a person do? When there is nothing other than oneself, then with which sense organ will one objectify anything? Because everything has become one. Yadabhimana nibandhanaha sarve doshaha tam stula deham ma kadachid api atmatvena mamsta ityaha mata pitruriti. So all these doshas are due to what? All these doshas have their basis in abhimana, and being bound by that abhimana where there is an individuality, and once there is an individuality, everything else follows, every adversity follows. Therefore one should not hold on to this stula deha as oneself. That is said here to now he is creating vairagya. See, vairagya is already there, but then in viparita bhavana what is happening? The impressions of I am, this body mind sense complex is so strong. In this janma itself it is so strong, and across janmas the connection with the manaha, sukshma sharira, has been so strong that it keeps on coming back. So you have to use all the tools which are available, and now even forcibly by creating disgust for the body, it has to be done. So here it is said in the 288 shloka that Mata Pitror Malodbhutam Malamamsam Maya Vapuhu Tyaktva Chandalavaduram Brahmi Bhuya Kriti Bhava. So Brahmi Bhuya Kriti Bhava, how will you get Ananda finally? Kritakrityartha, that I don't have to do anything. When you are in the form of Brahma, in your own Swarupa you remain. That is Ananda Swarupa, and that's where one will think that there is Purnatvam. Everywhere else one will try to gain Purnatvam, but one can never gain Purnatvam unless one is already Purna. So remaining in one's own swarupa alone is this purushartha or moksha siddhi, otherwise it is not possible. Therefore he says that tyaktva chandalavad duram, just like a chandala is an outcast, but basically because very dirty, the way you look at a person who is dirty, even your own sharira, when it becomes dirty without a bath, let's say a person has been unwell and bedridden for a while, unable to bathe, and then one fine day one gets up, the sharira is so dirty, one feels that when does this fever go and when can I have a bath? So whatever ailment is there, when does it go and when can I have a bath? Because you don't even want to touch your own body. Similarly, when you see another who is dirty, that kind, it is easy to see your sharira as pure, because after a bath we feel that yes, I have become pure, but it is not true. It becomes dirty again. So the way you can see the other's body is dirty and you stay away, similarly your body is also dirty. It is full of blood, all the things which the body keeps on discarding in various forms. Every now and then when you wake up itself, without brushing your teeth, you feel that the bad breath is felt by your own self. You cannot tolerate your own bad breath. You cannot, if you go for a jog or anything, you start sweating, and then it is difficult to even, without a bath, the sweat is stinky. So it is all sharira. So he says, Mata Pitror Malodbhutam, and how has this body come? Now this body is dirty. Others' body, when we see the way how it feels dirty, similarly our own body is dirty. So when we beget children, their body is also dirty, because it is born of this dirty body. There's nothing lovable about the body at all. So to generate this vairagya and make it dridha, is saying Mata Pitror Malodbhutam. Finally the sharira is dirty. The children are born through those shariras. So thereby Malodbhutam shariram also, it is what? Malamamsamayaha. And that kind of a Malamamsamayam vapuhu. In vapuhu is neuter, therefore Malamamsamayam, that which is nothing but vikara of mala and mausa, tyaktva, having given up this association with the body, Malamamsamayam vapuhu tyaktva, give up the body itself, that it is not me at all, it is not mine also, I am just trapped in this body. Thereby tyaktva chandalava duram, making it as asanga, I am associating with one's own swarupa, meaning disassociating with anything that you are not. Thereby duram, making it further away from you, always keeping your sharira at a distance from your own swarupa. Brahmi bhuya kruti bhava, become kritakritya by keeping to yourself as in the real nature. Mata pitroho malodbhutam shukla shonita janyam. So the seed which is born of the sharira, annamaya sharira, and all the entire sharira is an effect of food. It nourishes the food nourishes the body, annamaya kosha. It also nourishes the mind and then buddhi antakarana also. Therefore the sukshma and the stula sharira are both born of food, and the food intake, it is not born of food, but it is nourished by food. And then we say that the seed of the body is also born of food. It is a vikara. Unless one eats, one cannot be strong enough to think or even do any activity. Similarly, the formation of the seed is only when a person keeps on eating food. So it's an anna vikara. Everything is an anna vikara, and thereby the sharira vikara is also what? It is all mala. So he says mala mausamaya. From that sharira the seeds are born, and then the children are also born from that. Therefore shukla shonita janyam is malodbhutam mata pitroho malamausamayam hetutaha swabhavatascha. And it is hetuta also. It is, if you look at its basis also, it is like that, and swabhavatascha also it is like that. It is only malamausamayam. स्वभावतश्च विवत्सम इत्यर्थ. वपुः शरीरम, the body, sharir chandalam iva duram tyaktva, the way you keep away from someone who is not clean, unclean, tyaktva tatra atmatva vimanam akrutva, giving up means duram tyaktva. Keeping it at a distance means you should not associate with your own body with tadatmya sambandha. It is all cognitive, and thereby brahmi bhuya ajnanikam abrahmatvam viduya swayam brahma iti vijnaya. So brahmi bhuya meaning becoming brahma, there is, it's all figurative, meaning abrahmatvam viduya, giving up association with anything which is ajnana janya. Ajnana janya ajnanikam, ajnanikam abrahmatvam. The vikshepa is due to this avarana, both shaktis belong to ajnana, and we associate with those as the karya, ajnana karya, as ourself, but having given that up is called as brahmi bhuya here. Swayam brahma iti vijnaya, knowing that I am brahma, I am not any of these dehas, all these are koshas. Kriti bhava meaning krita krityo bhava, or kriti is equal to dhiman bhava. So either become satisfied because ananda swarupa, our swarupa is ananda, or kriti is dhiman, be in that chit swarupa. Tyaktva stulavimanam tat parichhedat परिच्छिन्नम इव भासमानं जीवमपि उपाधि प्रविलापनेन विलापयेत्याह घटेति. So tyaktva stulavimanam, having given up association with this stula sharira, now tat parichhedat parichinnam iva bhasamanam jivam. So having given up association with the stula sharira, which brings in the individuality, as in the attributes of the sharira are considered as one's own attributes, but then individuality will be there even if you give up that sharira association. In the mind you think that I am this individual, so jivatvam is there, which is bhasamana. That pratiti of jivatvam is there. I am an individual, how can I be the whole? I can't be the entire universe. This kind of a feeling is there. Therefore upadhi pravilapanena, all this is due to that individuality is because of that which individualizes you, that which sets you apart. If you think about that, it is all upadhi. Existence, if you are existing, another is existing, and yet another is existing, all are existing. What is the difference between the existence? If something exists, there are two people who are existent, and there is space in between. That space is also existent. Otherwise, between you and the other person, satta is there, and satta is there here, satta is there in another person. Now what about something in between? It cannot be asat, because if there are two sattas, then between these there cannot be satta. Just like you say there is water here, and in an ocean there is water elsewhere also, but between these 2 points where you think there are points, these are all imaginary. The water is continuous. Similarly, this consciousness, satta, all are continuous. All of this, all in the sense, it is one thing which is called with various names to drive home the point of one thing that you feel as I am existing, and another feeling that you have that I am conscious. But all these are just one tattva manifesting in different ways as sentience elsewhere and as existence everywhere. So somewhere you see sentience, somewhere you see no sentience, but then sentience here and elsewhere, consciousness here and elsewhere is the same. It is one tattva which is segmented due to the body. So stula deha abhimana, once it is gone, still this antakarana is there which delimits as though this consciousness and satta. For that he gives an example. Ghatakasham mahakasha ivatmanam paratmani vilapaya akhanda bhavena tushnim bhavasada mune. So ghatakasham mahakasha iva atmanam paratmani. Just like this mahakashe, ghatakasham mahakashe iva atmanam paratmani. So mahakashe is mahakashe, it's not mahakashaha, mahakashe. the sandhi it can be either way, but here mahakashe, in mahakashe, in total space, just like we say that they put in few pots and then we say this is pot 1 space, pot 2 space. So there are pot spaces and there is a total space, but really is there total space which is separate from pot space and pot spaces separate from each other? The pot space is total space, there is no other space, it is one single space. We call it as the total space separately from pot space when the pot as an upadhi, it as though divides the space. So it is for vyavaharika convenience. We say in this one pot I will have say kept something, and in another pot I will have kept another thing. So I put water in one and I put some garlic in the other. The garlic pot starts smelling. So I say the space in the garlic pot has become is stinking of garlic now, and the other pot is not stinking. So for vyavahara I'll say this pot space is clean, that pot space. So even in say this room, this space is very dirty, but actually space does not become dirty, and the space itself is never segmented from the total space. Similarly here, like mahakashe ghatakasham iva paratmani atmanam vilapaya. So the way you see ghatakasha is separate, but then once you know that this pot 1 space, pot 2 space, all spaces are nothing but space, you are in fact, even when there is this pot upadhi, the body of the pot, even there the space is there. So how can the space be divided? It cannot be divided. So ghatakasha you resolve into mahakasha. Similarly, you resolve this atma, jivatma into paratma. Paramatma, atma cannot be segmented. Atma is subtler, even subtler than space. Space itself cannot be segmented. How can you segment atma? So with this example, otherwise with other examples it is difficult. People may still question that there is another sentient. I am not the same sentience as the other is. All this is bhranti, which is due to the sukshma sharira upadhi now, and that is segmenting this consciousness as though, satta as though. Therefore, atmanam paratmani vilapya, having resolved it, what should you do? Akhanda bhavena. Akhanda bhavena, there is akhanda akasha. Similarly, there is akhanda paramatma, akhanda atma, that is one tattva. Thereby, through this understanding that I am one homogeneous existent consciousness, which is called as Satchidananda, and that through that understanding, tushnim bhava, sada tushnim bhava he mune. So now he is saying that the Shishya, he is calling as a Muni, because now Mananat Muni, he has become Mananashilat Muni. He has taken to Manana completely, which is gradually moving into Nididhyasana now, and thereby he is saying Tushnim Bhava. So Nididhyasana, let that Nididhyasana become Sthira. Nitaram Sthiti, Nishtha. May you have Nishtha. That is called as Tushnim Bhava. Remain silent, remain without indulgence, remain without the life of becoming something you are not. You are not the Sukshma Sharira, you are not an individual, therefore you cannot be the body, mind, sense complex, you cannot have Ahankara, Mamakara. All these are just apparent and none of this is real. Mahakasha eva ghatena avachchidyamanaha ghatakasha uchyate. What is ghatakasha? It is just that same akasha which is called as total space, that itself when it is segmented by the pot as though, it is called as ghatakasha. Dhiya ghatasya prathakkarane ghatakasha mahakasha eva. And once you cognitively see that the pot space is not different from total space, it is but same. Evam upadinam sarvopadana sarvakalpanadhisthana brahma avyatiriktatva jnanena swarupataha nishede krute akhanda bhavena paricheda. We'll look at this. So swarupataha. So evam upadhinam, all the adjuncts which are there in the form of bodies now. All the bodies which are segmenting the Atma Tattva as though, they are all imagined, and imagination, whatever is imagined, is never different from its adhisthana. The sarpa is never different from the rope. Sarpa is a bhranti, it is a nama rupa, kalpana, and kalpana is never different from its adhisthana. Therefore, sarvopadana, sarvakalpana adhisthana, that which is the material cause, that which is the cause of everything, that karya cannot be different from the karana, which is its adhisthana, the basis. Thereby, the sarva adhisthana and sarva upadana is what? Sarva kalpana adhisthana. It is that Brahma, which is me, and therefore avyatiriktatva jnanena, by knowing that none of this apparent reality is real, it is all apparent, and thereby it is just an imagination in me. It does not have its own reality. That satta which is seen is my own satta which is appearing there. Swarupatha nishede krute, meaning what? It does not exist on its own. The prapancha has no existence unless I give it existence. Thereby nisheda is swarupatha. In its swarupa, it is not different from me. It does not exist on its own. It does not exist. That is swarupatha nisheda. And thereby what? Akhanda bhavena parichheda padakasya abhavat. And akhanda bhavena, once it is this homogeneous entity, single homogeneous entity which cannot be divided, which was never divided and which will never be divided, which is me, thereby there is no parichheda possible due to abhava of this possibility of parichheda, aparichinna karataya. And then akara, there is aparichinna cannot have an akara. In the form of infinity, you can say aparichinna. What is the form of infinity? There is no form. There is only a symbol on paper that you can draw, but then there is no real form. So aparichinna akarataya sada mune tushnim bhava, remain unmoving, meaning be, as Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi said, he said summairu, meaning be yourself. So be yourself meaning whatever is your real sarupa. It does not mean be yourself mean never change. You can never change actually. Never change meaning when we say that a person associates with the dharma of the sharira, then there is a change needed. But then there are no changes needed, there are no changes possible in Atma. It is avikarya Atma, that kind of an Atma you are, thereby remain that. That's what is the meaning of be yourself or tushnim bhava. It is explained here, kartavyantara bhavat. Why tushnim bhavu? You don't have to do anything, you cannot do anything, because all the karma itself is an abhasa for a jnani and there is nothing to be done. Kartavya antara. Anya kartava is kartavyantara. There is no kartavyantara. So kartavyantarasya abhavat kartavyantara abhavat. Uktam hi Gita. So, and it's said in Gita in the 15th chapter, etad buddhva buddhiman syat kritakrityascha bharata. He bharata, etad buddhva, having known this atma tattva with aparoksha jnana, buddhiman syat, one becomes buddhiman, one becomes jnani, buddhiman there, and syat kritakrityascha, and becomes kritakritya through this aparoksha jnana. Once one is kritakritya, meaning what? Whatever is kritya, whatever has to be done has been done. Krityaha kritaha or kritaha krityaha yena saha kritakrityaha. One kritya means there is a kritya pratyaya itself. The set of pratyas are called as this kritya pratyas. What are those? Which tell you kartavyatvam. It has to be done. So it's like a vidhiling. Usage is like vidhiling. So it has to be done. This is my duty. It is a prescribed duty for my varnashrama. I have to do it. And all those have been done. Why? Because all those duties are for moksha siddhi. Moksha, once it is siddha, then all those are as well done. Kritaha. So kritaha krityaha sarve kritaha. Sarve krityaha kritaha yena. By whom all which has to be done has been done. Meaning there is nothing to do. Therefore what? Tushnim bhava. Then there is, since there is nothing to do, person will remain as he is in his own swarupa. स्वप्रकाशम अधिष्ठानम स्वयं भूय सदात्मना ब्रह्मांडम अपि पिंडांडम त्यज्यताम मलभांडवत. So just like you see a vessel full of disgusting things, so malabhanda is said. So you can say that you don't look back the waste, you flush it out. So here similarly, swaprakasham adhishthanam swayam bhuya sadatmana. Sadatmana, in one's own nature, swayam bhuya, swayam bhutva, being in one's own nature by oneself, not through any tool anymore. So antakarana vritti resolves and then you remain brahmarupa samadhi. Swaprakasham adhishthanam, that is the brahmarupa adhishthanam which I am and which is self-effulgent. There is no indriya also needed there. That kind of a brahmandam pindandam tyajyatam malabhandavatu. He says this, in that form, once you remain in that, what happens? All this which is seen as the entire brahmanda and pindanda, which is what? The sharira, individual sharira. So the cosmic egg, meaning the cosmic sharira, or the individual egg as in individual sharira. Both of these should be given up. The tat padartha and tvam padartha vachyarthas have to be dropped and the lakshyartha has to be taken. And the way it is cognitive, similarly, once you have understood the tattva, you should never give into it as there is a creator to this prapancha and he has created me. Such idea should never be entertained again. That is the idea here of brahmandam pindandam brahmandam api tyajyatam. These should be given up. How? Malabhandavat. Like you don't look at dirt again. All the waste is set aside. Similarly, that kind of all these mithya prapancha should have only that much value. The way you don't have value for waste, similarly you should not have any value for this prapancha anymore. Swaprakasham iti. Swaprakasham chidrupataya swatah siddham. It is self-effulgent because it is by nature consciousness. Adhishthanam sarvakalpananam. Adhisthana is, it is a substratum for every kalpana. All these imagined, whether brahmanda or pindanda, both are imagined at the individual as well as the universal level. Maya vidyayoscha, meaning maya and avidya. All these are what? It is not only an adhisthana. Brahmatma is not an adhisthana only for this prapancha karya, also at the universal level for maya also, as well as avidya. So that which is the shakti of Brahma, whereby we call him as Ishvara. Brahma is an adhisthana even for maya. And at the individual level we say bound by avidya. That avidya karana sharira is also supported by the same Brahma, because it is not opposed to it. The consciousness is never opposed to knowledge or ignorance or erroneous knowledge. Thereby the erroneous knowledge has a place, it continues. Karana sharira adhyana, all this is in Brahmatma alone, maya avidya. But jnana is opposed to ajnana. Thereby we are able to remove this ajnana. So mithya jnana will remove mithya jnana. Jnana is also as mithya because it is manifested consciousness. Consciousness manifested in vritti as brahmatma vritti. Aham brahmasmi ityadaya. So all these vrittis are there. They work on the ajnana. But consciousness is not opposed to it. Therefore, sarvakalpananam, even this maya and avidya are imagined because we see the karya, maya karya as this prapancha, and thereby the creator also we have to think about, and thereby maya is anumeya, karya anumeya. We have to infer. Similarly, avidya is inferred because we think ourselves as an individual, therefore avidya is also inferred. It is all mithyattvena, it is existent. Yes, with vyavaharika satyatvam we say it is there. But then both are kalpanas, just like the karya are kalpana. When the karya kalpana goes away, you need not hold on to the karana, they are also kalpita. Thereby maya avidya, both maya and avidya put together in a samasa, maya vidyayoscha kalpanadishthanam swayam bhutvaya sadatmana brahmandam चतुर्दश भुवनात्मकं पिंडांडमपि स्वशरीरमपि malabhandavат malapurna ghatavat tyajyatam. Here brahmanda, what is brahmanda? Swayam bhutva sadatmana, swayam bhutva, always being yourself by yourself, in the form of yourself, existent in that manner alone, without becoming anything else, even erroneously, even with negligence. One should not become anything else. One should not have tadatmya sambandha anywhere else, and thereby what happens? Brahmandam chaturdasha bhuvanatmakam. Where does one have this ahankara mamakara? With all this, that is objectified. And here it says Brahmandam, the entire prapancha, not only what you what you see here and now, but elsewhere also. We think from Shastras there is this Swargaloka where I would like to go to, or Narakaloka which I would like to avoid, and there are so many such, 7 plus 7, 7 above and 6 below. So, and the existent one where I am now. So 6 above and 7 below. Including the existent one, it is considered as a higher loka, Manushya loka onwards upward. So they are 7. So 14 lokas are there. All these are talked about in Puranas. All are kalpita because our Sharira itself is kalpita. So he says Brahmandam is Chaturdasha Bhuvanatmakam. This entire Brahmanda consists of 14 lokas as talked about in the Shastra. All those, and then Pindandam is what? This own Sharira. Both are what? Are mithya. They should be given up. So Malabhandavat Malapurna Ghatavat Tyajyatam. Naiva Smaryatam Ityarthaha. And how do you give up? You can't give up just by thinking that I have to give up. I cannot actually act on it and give up. So all that is cognitive. Here it says Naiva Smaryatam Ityartha. You should not think about it as your own Sharira. You should not think about its creator. You should not think about this Prapancha and its creator. You should not give in to that thought which gives it reality. Adhisthana avashesha hi nashaha. And what is nasha? Tyajyatam. You should do tyaga, destroy all these. How do you do that? It is nasha is what? Adhisthana avashesha. When the adhisthana alone remains, then the kalpita are said to be destroyed. And that is nasha kalpita vastuna iti pramanat. You know that whenever the sarpa is seen, that time when you are pointed out that it is Rajju, not Sarpa, then seeing the Rajju itself is nasha of the Sarpa. Adhisthana avashesha. Rajju avashesha is called as Sarpanashaha. When in your cognition only the rope remains and you don't have the memory of the Sarpa as, not memory of Sarpa, but the Sarpa as imagined, because it was seen, but it was imagined and you couldn't see the rope. But when you see the rope, then all it remains is a bhranti. It was a bhranti. It was a bhranti. There was never a snake at all. Thereby, Sarpa is what? Sarpanasha. It is destroyed now. How is it destroyed? By knowing the rope. Adhisthana avasheshu hi nasha kalpita vastuna iti pramana. And that is a pramana for saying that this Brahmanda and Pindanda should be given up. Association with any of this and giving it reality should not be the case, because they are kalpita, and once you remain in yourself, that itself is nasha of kalpita vastu such as Brahmanda and Pindanda. Sadatmana tyagaha nama nasti tu apadanam eva. So giving up, sadatmana tyaga nama nasti, meaning there is nothing there. It is tyaga. You giving up cognitively is what is called as tyaga here, and which was explained earlier as one should not even think about it. Okay, so that is so not thinking about it as real is called as tyaga here. and continuation, you see the same thing, idea is continuing. There is no sangati bhashya here, there is no sangati vyakhyana. Chidatmani sadanande deharudham ahandhyam niveshyalingam utsrujya kevalo bhava sarvada. So kevalo bhava sarvada, earlier what? Sadatmana swayam bhuya. Similar idea, kevalo bhava, without any association with anything, you remain the way you are. Even in yoga, the last pada is called as kaivalya, kaivalya pada, remaining as yourself. That is misunderstood as dvaita remains, but here kaivalya is that kaivalya is advaita, it is without a second. How? Lingam utsrujya, lingam is the sukshma sharira. Having given up the sukshma sharira, you remain what you are. Ajnana nasha has happened, which is karana sharira, but vikshepa continues as long as there is prarabdha. So what you remain is you alone. Thereby kevalo bhava sarvada, always remain in your own swarupa. Chidatmani sadanande deha rudham ahandiham niveshya. So he says, this deha rudham ahandhiyam, the ahandi which you had in deha, which was so dridha, it was rudha, so rudha is dridha there. So deha rudham, which was there in the body, there was tadatmya sambandha with the body mind sense complex, whatever association was there, that ahandi means I am this body, I am this. Although one does not think that, in Vyavahara it is Siddha, because the dharmas are taken, dharmas of the body are taken as our own dharma. Thereby all the association as oneself unto all the koshas, whichever was there earlier, as an assemblage which was there, giving up that, what should one do? And deha rudham ahandhiyam lingam utsrujya and chidatmani sadanande niveshya. One should do nivesha, one should associate oneself cognitively with chidatma, sadananda swarupa chidatma, the consciousness which is of the nature of happiness. So remain blissfully without becoming anything else. So whatever earlier thinking was there, it should not be brought back. So you have to give that association up completely and associate with your own nature. There is no association needed really. Dropping off that neti prakriya itself is called as this nivesha with chidatma, because if you give up everything, who remains? Earlier there was a question which was asked by the Shishya. You remain. There is nothing to misunderstand there. You remain. So if there is a misunderstanding, the Guru has already taught. One who objectifies and never becomes an object, that kind of an ever sakshi, ever witness you are, and he will always remain. And therefore you will always remain as aham. That aham vritti is mithya, but that Brahmatma, that consciousness is not mithya, that will always remain as the ever cognizer as long as anything is cognized. So giving up association with any of those, even with that ahankara, that I, aham vritti which comes up, even that has to be given up. You are witnessing that because you know that vritti, and thereby kevalo bhava, sarvada kevalo bhava, always remains so. Chidatmani iti deharudham ahandhiyam. So okay, deharudham, it should be deharudham, because ahandhi is it is dhi is strilinga. So in tika there should be aham, there should be rudha, rudham, deharudham. So arudha, it is said arudha. The rudha is there, dridha arudha. So I prefer to call it as dridha, because arudha means actually you mount a horse, that is called ashwarudha. So mounting, so arudha. But what is it? Mounting the thought unto the sharira, meaning you associate with the thought. It is dridha. So deharudham ahandhiyam, aham iti matim. That is the idea. Deho aham iti mati. That is called as deharudham ahandhi. Sadanande Chidatmani Swayam Prakasha Nityananda Swarupe Paramatmani Niveshya. So taking that ahammati away from that ahammati which is associated, tied up with the deha, taking that, bringing that into the atma, Sadanande Chidatmani, which is Swayam Prakasha. Chidatma is Swayam Prakasha, and Nityananda Swarupa, it is always of the nature of bliss. Paramatmani Niveshya Adhaya, so holding on to your own Swarupa instead of anything else, then what? Lingam Sukshma Shariram, that Sukshma Shariram Utsrujya Tadatmena Anabhimatya, not having abhimana with identification with that Sukshma Sharira, that is called as Lingam Utsrujya, Sukshma Shariram Utsrujya. Kevalo Bhava, what is Sarvada Kevalo Bhava? Asango Bhava, be without any association with any of these koshas. Or other interpretation is of Kevalo Bhava meaning Sajatiya Vijatiya Swagata Bheda Rahito Va Bhava. Otherwise, be without any kind of divisions, that there is another Brahma, another Atma, there is another Atma, and whether Atma or Anatma also. Is there another person who is sentient? No, there is no other sentient person. How about another insentient? There is no another insentient. There is no other at all. Insentient also. Not another, other. Who is insentient? I am sentient, the prapancha is insentient, jada. Is it there? No. I am sentient, another sentient exists, that is also not true. So Sajati, Vijati, Bhedas are gone. Okay, I am sentient, but are the Satchidananda divisions in me? Are there divisions in me? There are no divisions, therefore Swagata Bheda Rahita also. That is an interpretation, second interpretation of Kevalaha Bhava. So be Kevala, Kevalo Bhava means Sajati, Vijati, Swagata Bheda Rahita Bhava. Bhedasya Ajnanikatvat. Why? Because all the Bheda, all the divisions are due to, all segmentations are due to your own imagination. Ajnanikatvat. Ajnanikatvat means being Ajnanakarya. Paramatma aham iti jnane tasya nashat kaivalyam sahajam abhivejyata iti bhavaha. What is the idea of saying Kevalo Bhava? It is not really vidhi. It is not a lot lakara vidhi that you be in this manner. What is it saying is that do not become anything else. That is the vidhi there. To be yourself, that is but natural, swarupata. So he says Paramatma aham iti jnane. Once you know that you are Paramatma, you are none of these koshas, then there is no other, you are Advaita Brahmatma, then tasya nashat kaivalyam, all these bheda nashat, tasya is bheda nashat. All the Bhedas, koshas are destroyed as though, because they have been resolved as mithya and resolved into yourself. Therefore, Kaivalyam Sahajam, Sahajam Avivejyata. Meaning what? This Sahajam Avivejyate iti bhavaha, meaning what? The Kaivalya is automatic, Sahajam. It manifests on its own. That manifests as in, there is no manifestation, but it reveals. This Kaivalya is Swarupa is automatic, because everything which is Mithya has gone. What remains is Satya, and that is self-effulgent. So there is nothing to become Kevala. Kevala remains. The Kaivalyam is clear to you. That is what is the meaning of Kevalo Bhava. Kaivalyam Sahajam Avivejyate iti bhavaha. So that is 291. We'll stop here and then we'll do the rest. Will start with 292 in the next part. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharantam Gocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyam. Om Tat Sat. Any questions? Yes, Sunilji.
Swamiji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So, Swamiji, so I understand, this need of negation in being in that, that state of mind. So my dilemma is that see, when I listen to that, the order of Ishvara, the sense that I got that, one should have the reverence towards, this creative power.
Yeah.
And now, as we are undoing, it's almost bringing like creating a sense of distaste and, utter dispassion towards anything external. And I'm in my mind struggling to switch over, because earlier I was a little bit more indifferent, and then after listening to the order of Ishvara, I consciously made an attempt to change my my attitude to bring in more reverence to anything external, and bringing in that all this is Vishwarupa or Ishwarupa. And now kind of going back and undoing and creating like a real distaste. How do I navigate this?
Okay, see, you can hold on to one, either of the two, both one. Other way to say, see, because even here also you see, he keeps on going, switching mode, so that whatever works for the Shishya, that methodology should be used. That is one way to see it. Second is where is this stage of creating disgust is for a person who has reached a stage where all this has worked. The order of Ishvara, what Pujya Swamiji says. See, order of Ishvara is needed to understand the Karya Karana Prakriya, that Karya Karana Abheda Prakriya. Once you have understood it, you can hold on to it. There is nothing wrong there. But then you should know that he is neither a Karana nor a Karya. And what is the idea of saying that all of this is Ishvara? You are not different from Ishvara. You are Ishvara as well. When we say everything is Ishvara, how can you be different? So you are not different from Ishvara. When you are doing Tattvamasi Vichara, there this order of Ishvara at a certain point of time will be dropped. Because you will say I am this same Ishvara, the creator. The creatorship is an attribute. And Jivatva is an attribute. Both are to be dropped cognitively. In Vyavahara, you can still continue. One can do Namaskara to Ishvara and have this bhavana, but still it should be with Abheda. You can still say that you should not lose sight of this Atma Tattva even at that point of time. There is nothing wrong in, there's nowhere is it said that you should not go to a temple, you should not do worship. Let it be done. But then Abheda should be held on to. It should not be with Dvaita that I want it for this purpose. The purpose for seeing Karya Karana Abheda is this Prakriya of everything being Ishvara. Now once you've seen everything as Ishvara, you can still continue what you are doing. Does not mean that you have to have disgust in that. Here, at what stage it is said, when you are doing Nididhyasana, that time this Dvaita Bhava, does it come or not? If the Dvaita Bhava comes, then this is the methodology. Many ways have been given. You can take whichever appears better for your taste. See, for example, even Pujya Swamiji didn't like this intense Vairagya and all these. He never liked it. I particularly like it. So there is also you have to see where do you fit in as to what is it that you like. People say that there should not be disgust towards the body. It is a sadhana. It is a means. But then there is another way to see it also. If there is no vairagya to the body, how is sadhana possible? So they have to be seen where they fit in. In the context, you have to understand as to what is the purpose of each part in the sadhana, whether it appeals to me or not, whether it is useful to me or not. You are a better judge. So if you feel that you don't want to drop this idea, you want to hold on to what is working for you, please do. It is not that it has to be done in this way alone. You can hold on to whatever is working for you. If the earlier prakriya was working for you and you pick the second one which is working better, you hold on to that. But all these are just prakriyas. What is the Satya? There is only one Advaita Brahma. That is the Satya, and that I am, you have to have that. As long as that is not going, all prakriyas are okay. If that is going, you are slipping into Dvaita, that time use any tool which works. Now, to me, if you say that, okay, I'm not this Deha. How do you say I am not this Deha when you are saying that I am a Dasa of Ishvara? Is it possible? It becomes Vishishta Advaita to me. As long as that Dasa Bhavana remains, that Dasa Bhavana has to be there. As long as there is Dehatma Bhava, Dasa Bhava has to remain. See, this, what is being talked about here is at a much later stage. We are not there. It is talked about for a person who is slipping from Samadhi into this Deha Bhava. If Samadhi is just a word for us, then this Ishvara and Dasa Bhava is okay. It is good to keep. But then when you are doing Nididhyasana, that time you say that no, I am Dasa, I have to do Seva, and there is this Ishvara who is manifesting his entire world. It is going to create a stumbling block to Nididhyasana. It is at that stage when it is said that both should be given up. Brahmanda, Pindanda, both should be given up. You can't hold, see, and both should be given up simultaneously. It is not that I give up Ishvara and hold on to Deha. That is where the flaw is. We hold on to, when we see that no, now this disgust has been created, that disgust is at both levels. Disgust, or for a lack of better word, but Vairagya which is created, that is towards everything. It is not that I with this body mind sense complex remain and this world is useless to me. No, the creator and the world are all useful as long as I am an individual. But when this individuality is dropped, and in Nididhyasana you are one, and that time there is some stumble that no, look at this, how can I give up my Ishtadevata? So there is Ishtadevata is there. During Nididhyasana you should not have Ishtadevata at all. You can start there, but then it is only a beginning point for Abheda. Once Abheda is there, where is the Ishtadevata? Because there is no individual at all. You cannot say I am an individual and I don't have Ishtadevata or any Devata. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, no, I get that, Swamiji. Yeah.
So at that stage, it is only at that stage. In Vyavahara you hold on to all this. But when you are doing Nididhyasana, even let's say you are in the temple, you are sitting in front of the Lord, and then you recall this Mahavakya, you are looking at the beautiful idol, you have all the glorification shlokas, you are chanting them, you are looking at that beauty, but then there is Abheda, slowly that jnana which has worked for, you have put an effort for so long, that same deity has blessed you with this jnana now, and at that point of time the jnana is taking place. You should not hold on to the no, in this temple, how this Lord is sitting right here, how can I hold on to this Advaita? You should not do that. But such vasanas do come back. They are Shuddha vasanas, but still vasanas, and they are blocking your nishtha. So at that point of time, you should say that there is neither the Lord nor this individual. I am not a dasa, there is no Ishvara. Meaning what? There is no bheda between the two. Because you are holding two attributes, and you are, see, when you are created, see, we think that dasa bhavana is good. It is good for a sadhana till you land on jnana. Even with jnana it is good, but then during Nididhyasana it is not good for a simple reason, I'll tell you. When you say that I am separate from the Lord, right? Is the Lord you or not? When you say I am separate from the Lord, it looks good as a bhavana for a sadhaka, but really through jnana, if you think cognitively, what is it? You are limiting the Lord. By saying that I am different from the Lord has become separate from you, you are limiting the Lord. So with that bhavana also, if you look at it, it is against the Siddhanta. It is good for humility, for sadhana, for chitta shuddhi, for jnana to take place, for jnana to fructify also it is good. But once you are gaining nishtha, then you hold on to that, it becomes an obstacle. During that point, it can come back, let it be. During Vyavahara, let it be, but Advaita, with Advaita, that is not contradictory. It is Vyavaharika Satta. It is at a different level of reality. What is mentioned here is from that Paramarthika perspective. Nothing is there. You should discard everything from the Paramarthika perspective, including the Ishwaratva also. There is nothing wrong there. Because Jivatva you are giving up. You are not giving up Ishwaratvam. You are saying you are no Lord, and then you say that I am an individual, I am the Lord. That is not the case. You are giving up both simultaneously. The flaw is only when you say Jagat is Mithya, I am Satya as this person. That should not be done. And that is the flaw which Pujya Swamiji sees. Most of them, Neo-Vedantins land there and thereby think that they are Jnanis, and then there is a fall. So for that reason, in my perspective, Pujya Swamiji always says that you hold on to Ishvara, you will not fall. Thereby, it is good to hold on to Ishvara and Jiva Bhava so long, as long as you are not doing Nididhyasana. Once, because there is always prasada. There is always prasada which will lead to more and more Chitta Shuddhi, which is always lacking. We are in this prapancha, we are always indulging. Even if when we don't want, we are indulging. Because there are people around us, they will drag us to their level, or even if they are better, still we will, in association, will drag ourselves down to a commoner's level. Thereby what happens is that sadhana, there is a fall from sadhana. For that reason, it is always good to have Ishvara, bring back Ishvara. What is all this indulgence? It is all Ishvara. And thereby, once you say it is all Ishvara, then that Ishvara is in the form of everything. And when we say in the form of everything, then Ishvara cannot be different from me. I cannot be different, because in the form of everything means in the form of me also. That we should not lose sight of, and thereby you should land on Advaita even with that Ishvara's order, which Pujya Swami says. It is Niyati. Niyati means this is how things are. This is a fact. And since he is a creator, and what is that creator? He has made this entire world and then become the entire world. While creating itself, he has become everything. He has become me also, as though, becoming meaning without changing. Thereby that Aikya you should land on even there. So these are just different names. See, Ishvara is overlord. Overlord of whom? When he has become the entire prapancha, everything, once you know that you are him, then who is he going to rule over? Only Sharira. Your aham, where ahankara is there, that ahankara onwards and outward is ruled, is overruled by the Ishvara, because he has a Sharira, you have a Sharira. But you are him. At that level, there is no overlordship at all. So they are at different levels of reality. Once that cognitive shift happens, then you have to do tyaga of other, because to remain there, you cannot slip into the sadhana mode again. If you slip into it, you bring back that Ishvara's order, and then you land into Nirguna. So it's a continuous cognitive process. You use that, you come here. Whenever you see yourself as slipping, then you try to discard. At both levels you try to discard. If you cannot discard, then you land on the Ishvara again, and then say, oh, Ishvara is there. So you bring back Vritti in mind, and then again Tattvamasi, and land into Nirguna. If you are staying in Nirguna for a good while, and then you are trying, if you think that you are sleeping, no, look at that, Ishvara is there. Yes, Ishvara is there, you are sleeping, you try to deny it cognitively. Because I am not Jiva, how can there be Ishvara? So you try to deny it. But if you are slipping into it, into something else, then you say, no, Ishvara is there, and he is in the form of everything, that is me. And then you again land into Nirguna. So it is a circle. At what point of time, what you should use, that you should see when you are doing it, you will know. If you are slipping into it without landing into Ishvara Tattva, into something else, you discard all of that. But then, if you land into Ishvara also, there also you have to use Tattvamasi. Because that Ishvara's order is for what purpose? It is for to see Karya Karana Abheda. Right?
Right. So, Swami, one more question. So at least in Viveka Chudamani, the sense that I'm getting is that while talking of Nididhyasana, Samadhi seems to be the way, whereas in our Sampradaya there, I think there was probably more emphasis on Brahma Abhyasa. Samadhi is okay, but there
See, here also, what is the Samadhi? Brahma Rupa Samadhi. It is still Neti Prakriya. How do you go into Samadhi? See, the Samadhi word is misinterpreted a lot. And then there is when you say in Arshavidya Gurukulam, when Samadhi is not talked about, you listen to Sadatmananji, he talks about it. There is nothing wrong with Samadhi. See, that's what I keep on telling in this part also. See, if we say our Sampradaya, what is our Sampradaya? If it is different from Viveka Chudamani, then it is not Sampradaya at all. This is, see, if you see Sampradaya is what it is, a lineage. And we say Shankaracharya is in the between. Yeah. So if we have lost that link, we keep Shankaracharya aside, then where is the Sampradaya? It is no Sampradaya. So either you say, I have created my own Sampradaya, where people have misunderstandings and they have some opinions. It's all. See, Samadhi is not necessary. Nowhere has it been said. Even in Viveka Chudamani, he is not saying Samadhi is mandatory. But it is an obvious result which is possible. When the vritti is resolved, it is called a Samadhi.
True.
See, when vritti resolves and you don't go to sleep, what is it? It is just another name. Why should there be so much importance given to that word Samadhi is beyond me?
Got it. Okay.
And yoga is used by Orthodox Sampradaya through and through. Now, some Sampradayas have become unorthodox because people misinterpret Samadhi. And Pujya Swamiji specifically used to think that Samadhi hunting is going on. Experience hunting. So those who why see Pujya Swamiji, you have to look at his perspective. His audience is so vast that there are a lot of neo Vedantins around the world. He does not want them to on one side he does not want them to lose sight of the tattva or think that they have got it, and on the other side he does not want others who are experienced hunters. Neo Vedantis are those who think that they have got it all. He does not want that extreme, and nor does he want the other extreme, which is where people go for experience hunting and deny jnana. He does not want that extreme also. So he has to strike a balance. Thereby, when he is saying that jnana alone is needed and no samadhi will give you, there he means that samadhi without jnana will do nothing. Because I have mentioned in many of these classes, I have mentioned that yoga samadhi can be on anything and everything. It can be even on a pot, it can be on a flower, it can be on a curtain, it can be on anything, it can be on a point, it can be on a word, it can be on a smell, it can be on anything. You hold on to a fragrance and one gets samadhi on that, there is a siddhi. But what is that we are looking at? We are looking at vasanakshaya as a siddhi. Vasanakshaya, nididhyasana, which is where viparita bhavana does not take you away. So thereby, what is the process? Holding on to, see, it's a catch-22. Look at it. If you analyze, it's a catch-22. Nididhyasana is not possible. Nishtha is not possible. During nididhyasana, one is practicing nishtha. Nishtha is not possible because of vasanas. So vasanas don't let you be in the tattva, and vasanas can be removed only by being in the tattva. It's a catch-22.
Yes.
And how do you resolve it? That's why in Viveka Chudamani you see Samadhi Rupa. He said Samadhi Rupa. But what is the Samadhi? He says there is no other way out. You have to bring back your own tattva. You keep on doing manana again and again. When is the vasana overpowering you? Only when you are not analyzing. So he says you don't give up viveka. Always analyze as to these vasanas are creating a vritti in my mind. They are creating raga dvesha. This raga dvesha is for whom? So you have to, when you go back and start the analysis. This is a problem. When people land on nididhyasana, they think that I should not go back. It always starts with manana. You inquire into what is this vasana. So that is why ajnana, this ajnana kara is what? It is Sorry, I'm trying to recall a phrase which is oft used. I have not used often, so vicharam na sahate. So it is that all these don't stand in the light of scrutiny. If you start analyzing it, you know that they are mithya. So vicharam na sahate, it cannot stand when you are analyzing it. It has an appearance only. So you look at these vasanas, raga, dvesha, they are all for deha. And am I this deha with all the prakriya which has been taught? You analyze it, then you know vicharam na sahate. It just suddenly disappears. No, it was all mithya. Like the sarpa, you look at the sarpa, you analyze the sarpa. Once you start inquiring into the sarpa, you look at it, it is all rajju. So once you inquire into the sarpa, sarpa vanishes. Similarly, all these notions which bring back the bondage as though they don't stand scrutiny. So the scrutiny is the answer. So you do manana, it will go to nididhyasana. That is the as long as it does not become automatic, you have to keep on doing manana. And then nididhyasana is bringing back to your own self. And here again and again he is giving this prakriyas as in what swadhyasapanyam kuru or in kruti bhava. In all this, what is he saying? Neti prakriya, you have to give it away. See, nishtha is not there because vasanas are coming back. So you do manana, you will get nishtha. That is nididhya. So it is a continuous process. There is always a tussle between vasanas and your viveka, your manana. So you keep on doing it, whichever is stronger will win. So although it's a catch-22, whichever is stronger will win. So nididhyasana, you keep on practicing it again and again, then this vasanas will not have a say. And it was seen earlier also, the more you deny the karya, indulgence in the karya, karana will weaken away. You see that, right? When children, we tell the children that if somebody is pestering you, you ignore the person. After a while, the person will give up, right? Whoever is troubling the child, that other child will give up because this child is ignoring. Then he'll find someone else. Similarly, these ajnana karyas also like you don't indulge in the karya, you withdraw yourself from it, then they'll start weakening. First rasa will be there, then rasa will try to manifest in nididhyasana. Because in meditation you are withdrawn, that time it is a good time to attack. But then you analyze and then again drop it. Neti prakriya. You keep on doing it, it will stop haunting you. Thereby vasanas become weaker and drop off. So there is no other way out. So it's a tedious exercise because cognitive exercises are exhausting. So it takes time.
It makes a lot of sense, Swamiji. It's just I think I'm absolutely able to relate to it. So the tediousness part is coming out, very loud and clear.
It's very tiring. It's very tiring. Yeah. We think that you're doing nothing, sitting idle. The onlookers think that a person is sitting idle, but there's so much of vichara going on, continuously doing that, and then it becomes easy over a period of time. That it becomes easier and easier.
But this is a big reinforcement, Swamiji, that for me at least, that this is actually the path. So while it can be tiring or long, but it gives that conviction that I'm on the right path.
The beauty of the sampradaya is that you cannot go wrong. Only when we jump here and there and try to see whether Zen works or something else. So there is a fall. People try to, there are people who try to see that this is what science says, this is what. So Shraddha is lacking. Their Shraddha is lacking. You still think that there is a real world out there. So with Nyaya I have to study, with science I have to study, and I have to do Samanvaya. All these are just for PhD thesis, but they have no value in sadhana. They can bring scholarship, but in sadhana you cannot go wrong if you follow any prakriya. You hold on to one prakriya which is working, or you follow multiple simultaneously. There is no issue there. As long as you know which is the weightage for what. As long as it's helping, see, finally it should help you stay with yourself. Whether you come through Ishvara, whether you come through Karya Karana Prakriya, where you see Swapnavat Mithya, whether you do Tarka analysis of why should this Deha be We have seen Tarka also. There is a lot of Tarka used here to see as to why is Annamaya Kosha a Kosha and not Atma. Why is Prana? Why cannot I be hunger in the form of hunger, etc.? Why can't hunger be my attribute? All these are seen. But Shraddha in Shastras is needed, and if that is there, it will work. It may take time, but it will work. It will take time, not that it won't take time. Had it not to take time, it would have worked long back. In childhood itself, it would have fructified. But it has taken so long to even come to the path. It will take long, but it's okay. Time is itself in the ajnana, field of ajnana. Let it take time, no issue.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Swamiji, I was maybe getting a little disheartened because I find myself more in Mananam. Yeah. And after reading the Nididhyasam, I felt that maybe I'm going wrong somewhere because I'm not able to hold on to one thought. And while Vichara is one theme, but you're going over your doubts and you're continuing to analyze. So somewhere along the line, I started getting a feeling that maybe I'm going wrong somewhere. So this is a big reinforcement, Swamiji. This section of the text we are, it's very, very helpful, Swamiji.
And if you look at it here, see, it looks very, very repetitive. There are many segments of the shlokas which are repeated. There is a refrain there to show that it is continuing. Nididhyasana also, you see Nididhyasana, the sun pratyanta, it also shows some kind of repetition. Even in the derivation there is repetition. There, what is called as abhyasa karya. So even here Nididhyasa is repetitive. It is repetitive. Mananas, if you are thinking once is not sufficient. It is repetitive. Chandogya Upanishad, the best of the students who has studied 4 Vedas and very young went to the this thing Gurukula, I think when he was 12 years old, came back when he was 24. So at that point of time, his father is Jnani. He is teaching him, but still it took 9 times Upadesha. In various ways, the various misunderstandings are removed. Here also you see there is a repetition, but some things are changing so that whichever works you use, there are more ways to reach this Nididhyasana. There are more entry points. All are entry points. Wherever you are, you can start analysis there and land on Nirguna Brahma. With any prakriya that works at that point of time. You need not hold on to one prakriya, or you need not give up any prakriya. If one prakriya is working, you hold on to that. But you should not be thinking that, oh, this is not working, let me try another, and then that is not working, another. You should land on one, at least one. If all are working, well and good. Sometimes for a person, all prakriyas work. Whichever prakriya comes to mind at that point of time, you use it, you resolve it, and don't think of the prakriya anymore. You land on whatever you landed on, you should not go back. That is the idea there. What is he saying is that you should not slip, and whatever tool works, even if it is to say disgust, use that. If it is working, use that. If it does not work, don't think of the prakriya anymore. Use whatever was working and continue with that. If we lose sight of what is being said and you see that, oh, this is, because I've seen this. I've seen good Swamijis say this also. Why should you have disgust? So instead of saying why should you have disgust, why should you not have disgust? If someone has disgust and it works for him, let it work. It does not work for you, don't use it. Simple. You can't say why should someone use this process. Let that process be there. It is a valid prakriya. Bhagavad Padacharya is saying it is valid prakriya. That much shraddha we should have. But if other is working, you need not use this prakriya at all. But this is one way, it is said. Otherwise, see, my parents have given me janma, they have given me an opportunity for moksha. If we start thinking these ideas, we are saying that there is a dhridatvam in this sharira. There is a dhridatvam in Mata Pita also. That we are thinking that parents are real, I am real. Thereby you are giving birth to duality again. So that is the reason it is. Otherwise, see, we say that, oh, I'll lose all respect for my parents. It is all mala. So that is not the intention then, right? The intention is to, in the Nirgunatvam, where is the Sharira, let alone the Bheda between the parent and the child? All these are not there. To discard this association with the body, there is one methodology used. So use that to stay with the nirgunatvam. Even I say elsewhere also, there is a lot of bheda in sampradaya also between a man and a woman. So people who say that why should a woman be treated different, or why should a varnashrami be treated, why should a brahmana be treated different than a vaishya or a kshatriya? All these are there in the Shastra. But if I say that even a Brahmana who says that no, I am a Brahmana, I should be doing this, I should not do, while doing Nididhyasana, it is Sandhya Kala, I should get up and do Sandhya Vandana. A person who holds on to that at that level, or a woman who says that why should I be separated, I am also Atma. If you are Atma, you are not Stri. The other is not Purusha. The rules are for the Sharira. If you say that I will not follow the rule, then you are saying that I'll not follow the rule for what purpose? Because the woman has been differentiated from a man and lessened. With that, you are considering yourself as a woman. And if you start thinking of yourself as a woman, it is against the teaching itself, let alone the rules, right? So everywhere there is all these are tricks played by the mind. We bring in at a stage of Nididhyasana, none of these should be entertained. Okay?
So does it mean, Swamiji, at some point of time, like Saguna Japa also should be consciously dropped and replaced?
Preferably don't drop anything consciously. Let it happen.
Let it happen.
See, don't feel bad that you couldn't do Japa at one point of time because you are absorbed. That is all it means. You should not drop anything.
Okay.
All this dropping is a happening. See, I always, as I said with dhyana also, don't try to meditate, try to do dharana. Try to do manana. Nididhyasana is a result of manana. Dhyana is a result of dharana. Samadhi is a result of this continuous vritti. That continuous vritti will resolve some point of time. But don't hold on to anything that I want to do this, therefore I'll not do this. You start doing something, if something else drops off, let it be. Don't feel guilty about it. So if you have set aside a time for japa, do the japa. During the japa also, the mind can resolve. The purpose of japa is also the same thing. Because when you are doing japa, you have to shift after a certain point of time. Automatically, if you are trained in jnana, the mind will shift from the japa mantra. Earlier it is in the mantra. And once the enough chitta shuddhi is there and jnana is working, then automatically the Ishta Devata blessing will work in such a manner that you will shift from the mantra artha to between the mantra, the tattva between the mantra. Like we say, read between the lines. So between the mantras also, who is there? You are the only tattva. So see, mantra japa is continuous so that you drop anything else. So there is no other vritti. There is only a japa vritti, mantra vritti. Once everything else is gone and only mantra vritti is there, the mind will resolve even there, and then even the mantra does not remain. What remains is Brahma Rupa Samadhi. So the purpose of japa is also to land on the same thing. So when jnana works, then between the mantras, between two successive mantra whatever chanting you are doing, utterances, what is there in between? You exist in between. Now no other vritti is there because all other thoughts have gone. You are completely focused on the mantra. So let's say I am saying Rama, 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 Rama. So between Rama and another Rama, two successive Ramas, who is there? I am there. There is an existent tattva there. Because no other thought is there. So between two vrittis also there is aham vritti which is continuing, that Brahma vritti is there. So to land on that is through jnana. It is possible. And if one is landing there, then the japa will automatically drop off. You don't need to drop it. So preferably don't drop anything that you are doing because it is working. Why should you give up anything which is already working? Right?
Perfect, Swami. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I'll see you in the next part. By the way, I hope you got the message yesterday that there was no class yesterday. Day before yesterday I had sent the message.
No, Swami. None of us got.
So I sent an SMS yesterday, day before yesterday when I dropped off, I sent an SMS to you.
No, so I didn't get, Rama didn't get, so we were there yesterday, we were for 20-25 minutes, we were there.
Oh, yesterday was Prathama Tithi. Anyway, you were not there. That when we started this daily class, that time I had mentioned that Prathama Tithi will not have a class. So those who follow Tithis, they would know. But still, as a rule, I mentioned that, yesterday I wanted to say it after the class, but I dropped off at the last moment. We had a power failure since morning, and I sent an SMS saying that we had a power failure since morning, and the UPS, home UPS also failed.
Oh. Yeah, no. So none of us unfortunately got the message, but that's okay, Swamiji. We realize.
Generally, don't stay longer than 5-6 minutes. Generally, I mean, sometimes when my clock was out of sync, I used to. I mean, the clock is still out of sync, but